In this exercise, we will use for the first time some basic Ajax and JavaScript functionalities. So first, we will use the tapestry autocomplete mixin, which allows us to add an autocomplete mechanism to one of our input in a form. Then we will use the zone component, very useful if you want to refresh just a part of your page. So first, we will use the mixin component for in the register form. So we want to, for the email input, propose to the user some available email address. So for doing that, we will just use the tmixins parameter and give to it the autocomplete value. This mixin takes some parameters, for example minchars. This parameter refers to the minimum number of characters before submitting the first Ajax request. So after 3 characters, the first Ajax request will be sent. And that's all for the HTML. And this mixin will trigger an event. So we will have to catch it and return an array of data corresponding of the data we want to display to the user. So in the register.java, we have to implement a method here, provide domain name completion, catching the provide completion event triggered by the email input. So we just need to annotate it with the add an event annotation. This method will return a list of data, and this method takes one parameter, the value entered by the user. So in this example, we check if the email add character. So if it does, we just create a new array list. We just add some value into this string and return to the user. So when the user will enter some data, after each request we will propose to him this address. He will have 3 possibilities. Then the second objective of this exercise is to use in the add portfolio HTML the zone component. So we want to update this zone after the submit of the form. So we just have to use the tzone parameter of the form component. This parameter takes the ID of a zone. So we have to define a zone identified by the Mason string, just there, tzone, tid Mason. By default, we do not want to display it, so we can use the tvisible parameter. And in this zone, we just indicate to the user that he added a new portfolio and give to it a page link if you want to go back to the main page. So that's all. We just, in the Java class, we just have to modify the success method there. We want to update the zone, so we have to first inject the zone component with the add component annotation and just use the getBody method of this object. So in the add portfolio to user, we just have to return mason.getBody. So if we check on our browser, so if I add a new portfolio, if I write something, you can see that the zone has been updated. So you can go back to the main page. If I visit the register page, okay, if I fill this input, so for example you can see that we have a list the list of the available data. So we can choose this one, for example. So we can change the CSS. By default, Tapestry has its own CSS file, but you can override these classes.